go.
Thanks, dudes. So you ready? My mic, huh? Mark, get really nervous now. All right, look, Mark, could you tell me a little bit about why you started drawing?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to.
Well, why did I start?
How you started drawing. Why you started drawing, how you started drawing.
Well, you know, as you know, nobody else knows.
We're going to tell them.
I originally was interested in film when I was in high school, and I wanted to be a filmmaker or make some kind of films. I was interested in I was interested in reading about like experimental films, although I really didn't get to see very many in those days. But I used to subscribe to a bunch of magazines that had articles about the independent film in New York. How's it sound?
Sounds great. Sounds fine. It's beautiful.
So
I just want to hear it.
Yeah.
I want to put it on both ears. Go ahead.
So I was interested in film and I was going to major in film when I went to college, but somehow I never by the second year I was in college I was kind of losing interest in film for various reasons. I was realizing I didn't really have the kind of personality it took to direct a movie with actors. I was also studying like writing. I was taking courses in writing and poetry, and I was doing a lot of writing, and I had written this poem, and I had this idea to somehow turn the poem into try to do something visual with the poem. So I decided I was going to make this animated film, which would take the images that were suggested in the poem and translate them into moving, into visual, to take it would take the imagery suggested by the words and transform it, and turn it into visual imagery.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I did. I made like an 8-minute film called Thomas House. I spent like the whole summer of 1970 making this film, and even at that age, I was.
You were how old then?
Well, I was 19.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess actually, I mean, if I want to go back even further, in '66, I used to make little short films when I was younger. When I was 14, 15, 16. And I remember when I was maybe 15, I made a little short animated film, really crude, with little drawings that I did. I mean, I did it like over a period of a couple of days, and I really had no idea what I was doing, other than I knew how to set the camera up to do animation and take one frame at a time and everything, but I didn't know anything else. But that was kind of, but I guess when I was 19, that's when I really decided I was going to make this, I was really kind of serious about it, and I tried to make something. I really worked hard on this film. But I had developed this idea even by that point that I wanted to just try to develop my own style of drawing. I thought, I'll just do it on my own. I'll just make up the art as I go along, and I'll do it the best I can, and that'll be like more of a pure artistic statement than if that'll be like the purest way I could do it. So when I did that animated film, it was all done with crayons primarily.
Really?
All the drawings were just crayon drawings, mostly.
Wow. Where is that film?
It's gone.
Where did it go?
It was stolen at the same time that this tape recorder was stolen.
Oh, that's a shame. It was on the...
yeah, my apartment was broken into. They stole it.
Oh, shit.
It was one of the most traumatic things that happened to me in my early 20s.
Could you elaborate a little bit, not on the theft, because I can tell that you could do that very easily.
Yeah, right.
It upsets you, but could you elaborate a little bit more on how you developed your style?
Well, okay, I guess if I go back really far, I can remember that I used to do like little doodles almost, or little drawings like on notebooks and things like that, you know, in my spare time in school when I should have been probably doing other things or listening to lectures, I would be. And that, I was doing that, God, when I was
Supposed to be doing Spanish class?
high school, junior high school. I was doing that when I was really young.
Yeah.
Even younger than that, but somewhere around 1970 or so, it started to get a little bit more developed, I guess, slightly. I started to, I guess, I read certain writers and I read some biographies of painters, and quite a few painters, even the ones who had gone to art school, kind of indicated that art school really was not helpful to them, and if anything was a detriment, and they had to kind of unlearn everything that they
Yeah,
had
yeah, I
learned.
can understand that, yeah.
So I thought, well, you know, it was for a lot of reasons. I just thought it's really, it really didn't seem like I should be doing that. I just thought I'll just plunge right in. I'll figure it out as I go along.
Well, you did a good job.
Well, you never saw those movies.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but...
So I made that movie. I ended up getting very interested in animation. I made a couple of more films in intervening years after that. I dropped out of college after 3 years. I moved to Boston, and actually, strangely enough, like when my apartment was broken into and this tape recorder was stolen,
this very recorder.
this very model, that was like really like a traumatic thing for me, because they stole all my films except one of them, including one that I was working on at that time, you know, which was 16 millimeter. And, I was really upset. I mean, I'd been working on this film for months, and like this is going to be like my most ambitious effort. They stole my 16 millimeter projector and a lot of other things, and it kind of put a real dent on my film plans at that time.
Do you think that theft has anything to do with your like total camera lust that you have right now?
My
camera lust?
Oh no, I think that came from.
That's a personal question.
No, it came out.
just, you know,
my
trying to put.
My father was. I mean, I think my interest in film and cameras in general came from like, you know.
Your dad?
Watching my father, who was interested.
Yeah.
Who had a dark room.
Mr. Camera, yeah.
At that time, he
Yeah.
lost interest himself at some point. But when I was growing up, he was very interested in cameras, and he made all these like home movies, going back to the 40s and 30s.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I had this big theft, and my films were all stolen, and I was broke, and I'm sitting there in this apartment, and I just was in a really very bad state of mind, and I started to like draw. I went out. I started to like think about as a substitute for doing animation and film, since I didn't have my camera equipment. I started thinking about. Am I going on too long?
No. You're getting to the meat. No, you're getting to the actual meat of the whole thing. Continue, please. I mean, I think we may be getting to it.
Yeah. Okay.
The question was, how did you develop your styles?
Well, yeah. So I just started doing these drawings, like as a way of. Because I wanted to keep working and doing something, and I couldn't make any films, so I just every day I would do a couple of these little drawings, and I would say that's when the style really started to kind of gel a lot more, and that was like around.
So you actually had aspirations of being a filmmaker, but those were thwarted because your equipment had been lifted conveniently.
Yeah.
So you became more of a like on paper kind of visual artist.
Yeah.
Out of necessity.
Yeah. That, I mean,
yeah.
at that time, but I ultimately I just got more interested in drawing than in film. I did start and make another film after, although I never really finished it. But I started to do another film sometime after that, and I was really unhappy with it. Really unhappy with this film because my artwork had developed a lot more. It no longer had. I mean, my early artwork, the stuff I did in the first films was like, it was literally like something a child could have done. It was totally untrained. It looked very crude, on crayons. Yeah. By this point, my art had gotten, my abilities had definitely improved a lot, but not enough to really, I don't know, somehow it just didn't work anymore. I mean, this film, it was like the artwork was too, something about the art, it was good enough so that it looked kind of unfinished somehow. It no longer had a unity to it. I mean, or the look of both the art and the as animation. So I got very frustrated with this film. I could see that it wasn't working. I had some really ambitious ideas for like these really complicated images which involve actors, live actors, and animation.
Sounds great. Sounds like it would have been wonderful.
But it didn't work. It wasn't coming out. At least I wasn't happy with it. Maybe if I
maybe now you could do something like that.
Maybe if I had some different advice.
That's a pretty ambitious project.
Yeah.
Actually.
And like I said, I was very shy, of course, at that time, especially. And not that I was using any professional actors, but there were people that I knew that I was using in these films. And as simple a project as it was, I was finding it really difficult.
It's difficult to order people around.
Yeah,
things.
I mean,
to direct people, I mean, you have to be very
Of course, there was no money in it for them. And,
right, so you want to be nice to them. You don't want to like schnob them.
To try to get them to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just wasn't working.
No, I wouldn't want to do that, for sure.
So it was really like sometime. By this time, it was like around 1974, and that was when I was doing drawings at that point regularly.
74.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
And I was doing animation, but that was the year I really decided I didn't want to. I really kind of gave up the idea of being a filmmaker, and just decided I'd concentrate on drawing.
Well, speaking of drawing, actually, if I could just take you off that subject for a moment, we can move on. You've been drawing, we've been seeing your work in the media and such for probably 15 years. I mean, whether it's been produced by you or, it's been in someone else's publication. Could you describe what your work is like now? For those of us who can't see it?
Well,
I mean, is there a sort of a...
I think it's I'd say I definitely work on it's definitely a primitive, oh God, this is hard.
I know, it's a hard question, I know. This is actually probably the major question, Mark.
But what?
This is probably the major question.
Yeah.
So, and don't worry about it, because this is the one that we're going to have to work on. Okay.
It's primitive, but
tell me a little bit about the storylines and things like that. I mean, your work. Gosh, this is really a complicated question. First of all, let's do it like this, okay? Let's talk about you do artwork that's in a sort of a comic format, but you also do other artwork. You do work that is also fine art. What exactly? Talk to us about that. What do you?
To explain
what is that?
Really
yeah.
briefly, that when I discovered comics because I'll make this really brief.
This is very important. No.
Stuff,
tell me about what the comics thing is.
Well, it was like I was just doing drawings for a while, and I was interested. I was studying these underground comics, and I realized that was like the perfect thing. It was like I could do the equivalent of, I could make kind of, it was like making movies again without all the frustrations and hassles.
You have to have all that equipment too.
Yeah, I mean, I could just tell a story, and I didn't have to
frame by frame.
Frame by frame. I didn't have to
wow,
work
yeah,
with actors.
Sure.
And it just really made perfect sense to me, and that was what really was exciting to me initially. Plus, there was a comic magazine called Arcade that started in the mid-'70s that I became very interested in because I felt that I could see that comics were starting to develop more. These people who were working in there were trying to develop a more serious artistic kind of approach to the comic medium. And that's what was really exciting to me, the idea of a lot of untapped potential in the medium. It seemed like such a basic, simple thing,
right.
Telling a story with, sequentially in boxes or in panels. And anyway, okay.
Well, no, I was just gonna, actually, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's okay.
Are you still excited about the medium?
Yeah.
I mean, are you still excited about the whole
I still think it's
comic
really
setup?
Yeah, I think there's just tremendous potential there, and it's just amazing to me that more people are
doing that.
Attempting it, because I mean, if you can remove all your, if people can somehow distance themselves from all the preconceptions of what the medium is. And
comics, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's somewhat remote to the average person.
You think so?
Well, in a way, yeah. I mean, probably more people have seen paintings than they have actually gone out and bought like an art comic.
Yeah.
And God knows how few people have actually looked at paintings.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think.
It's that much more removed.
I became aware too. I mean, of what was going on in Europe and different parts of Europe.
Yeah.
And Japan also, and it's very different over there. I mean, and very different in France, and very different in Italy and Spain, where comics
are art, fine art.
Yeah,
they're fine art.
There's not as much of it.
Well, they are fine art anyway, but
But they don't have even the comics that used to be published in commercial newspapers in Europe were a good deal more. A lot of them were historically considerably more aesthetic, I would say, than the ones we published. Anyway, okay.
No, we're doing fine.
So you wanted me to describe my style?
Yeah. So your style now is like. Tell us.
It's a primitive style, but it's a self-taught primitive style of art, which is at the same time but at the same time, I don't know how to explain it. At the same time, it's sophisticated, but it's not.
Well, how do you feel that it's sophisticated?
Well, it's sophisticated, and I'm not a genuine primitive artist. I have a lot of. Although, in terms of although I actually didn't study perspective and formal, I couldn't do a figure study. I couldn't do a figure study. Nevertheless, I feel like I studied a lot. I studied Paul Klee. I studied Jean Dubuffet. I studied. I spent a lot of time looking at these people and studying what they were doing, and
Sure, it's really all you need to do.
Yeah.
Visual is a lot more than.
So I can't say I'm like a genuine primitive artist, like somebody like Howard Finster or somebody like that.
He doesn't know shit. That guy doesn't know it. anything
that's
except
what I
for what
mean.
he's doing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really,
But he's a genius. So.
He's a genuine primitive. I mean, he doesn't really.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
He's untrained.
Yeah.
He's,
yeah.
On the other hand, like it's not like I feel it's not a contrived primitive style, which is something I think you see a lot these days. I mean, people that have
they fake it, yeah.
Yeah, people that have a lot of art training
and they just draw that way.
Consciously trying to do something crude, and usually you can tell somehow.
No, your work has a real genuine sort of just a genuine feeling about it. Primitive, naive, who knows, I mean, I don't know about, that's difficult semantics there, I mean, but although you're not trained, it's probably neither of those things, because actually you're very skilled at what you're doing, so you're not really a primitive artist either. You're kind of in a zone all your own. Are there any people that you look at as your mentors, or that you attempt to emulate, well, in general, period, at all, artists?
Yeah, there's a lot of artists.
What are your influences?
Well, in terms of comics,
it's too vast. Is that all right? Did you fuck around with them? Did you?
No, I think it's
okay. It sounds pretty much the same.
Yeah,
I think it sounds. No, wait, hang on. It sounds pretty much the same to me. Talking to your microphone now.
Well, we can rewind it
Speak again. It sounds like it might not be as loud as it used to be, but that's okay. I can still probably hear it. Well, we don't want it to feed back. It's beginning to feed back, so turn it down. I can hear this sort of like high-pitched thing getting ready to feed back. Okay, cool. That's fine. All right, so, Mark, could you describe what exactly, do you have a sort of a description of what your work is like now? Could you describe what your work is like as far as the comics goes, I suppose? I don't know. I mean, I know that you do all these different kinds of things. You do prints and paintings and all this different stuff, but for example, could you describe what the comics are like and maybe what they're about?
Well, they're mostly black and white, and I have a bunch of characters, although I've been primarily concentrating on these two characters, Amy and Jordan, the last number of years, several years, and Amy and Jordan have some kind of like very ambiguous relationship.
No, I thought they were.
Well, it's never made quite clear.
Tell me what they were last night.
It's never really made quite clear.
No one knows.
Whether they're brother and sister, boyfriend and girlfriend, mother and daughter, son,
just
or
people.
whatever.
They're just people.
Sometimes they're depicted sleeping in the same bed together, and deliberately. Sometimes I have Jordan taller than Amy, and sometimes Amy's taller than Jordan. Their sizes vary on purpose.
Yeah.
The whole idea being that it's kind of ambiguous who they are and where they're living. They live in a city, but it's never really made quite clear what city it is.
And what era?
What era it is.
Who knows?
Well, it's a contemporary era. It's definitely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
They have some kind of, off and on, they've had many different jobs, I suppose. And,
well, they seem to metamorphosize as, you sort of make it up as you go along.
Their apartments change, the size and the design of their
Sounds like being in New York.
Changes frequently. And, there's an overall aura of kind of dread and doom, I suppose, on one level of the,
Why is that? Is that a personal message that you're conveying? Why exactly is the dread and doom?
Well, I think I am very sensitive
Is that
to the dangers and perils.
Paranoias? Paranoias? Perhaps?
Peril and
fears?
Peril.
Peril, yeah. Okay, I got it.
Peril.
The peril. God, I got it. The peril. Yes.
Peril and dangers of contemporary life, and
Yeah.
particularly in America, and it's something that I personally don't dwell upon, every day or think about constantly, but I am very, very aware of it. And where there is an overall kind of dark, downcast kind of feeling to the whole strip, nevertheless, they do tend to overcome most of their obstacles, and
Right.
even if they don't, at the end of any given story, they're always ready to bounce back and start some new adventure.
Well, you just force them to.
Yeah. But so they're
Those poor guys, they've died many times.
Well, yeah, they used to, but they don't.
They don't die so much these days.
No, they haven't really in a long time.
No.
Well, maybe even 10
they're hanging
years
in there.
since
Yeah.
actually. I used to do a lot of stories that I just would die at the end. I don't really do that anymore.
Since like maybe dead stories or something.
Yeah.
Which brings me to a question of, could you tell us a little bit about the publications that you've actually produced, and perhaps some of the publications that you're proud of being a part of?
Sure.
I mean, I know that you're carried by numerous publications throughout the world, but what are the ones? And also, you do album covers for all kinds of different people, and gosh, your work is everywhere. But what are you really happy about?
Well, I think the thing that's closest to my heart, I suppose, is the comics. I feel that's really my strongest. I think that's what's most. I've been able to express the most facets of what I think that has the most facets of any of the any of the different kinds of work I've been doing.
Why do you do the prints and the paintings and all that kind of stuff?
I enjoy doing prints.
You like doing that stuff too?
I like making dolls and
You do
sometimes.
dolls, that's right. Sure.
But, I don't know, to me, those kinds of work, it's just, it isn't nearly as challenging. It's just like...
It's sort of like a once and over thing?
I really enjoy the idea of telling stories. I like to write stories.
So you're a storyteller?
Yeah, I think so.
You probably are.
Yeah. I really enjoy that. In fact, if anything, I'm thinking about...
Are there any story... What? No.
No, I'm like...
Go ahead.
I don't know.
You're going on and on. That's okay. That's what I want you to do. Are there any storytellers that are your mentors? I mean, do you think of anybody? Yeah, well, storytellers, writers, people that you like the way they operate, and not that you emulate them so much as just people that have inspired you to do the storytelling sort of aspect of your work.
Sure, there's been different writers, different points in time that I really become interested in. I mean, it's almost too many.
Well, mention a few. Be careful. Just remember, I'm going to try to quote you. Or I'm going to use this information. I mean, I won't, you'll edit it, but, is there somebody that you would enjoy being?
Thinking about it. It's hard to really... I mean, there were certain writers that were very important to me when I was younger, and
they probably were influential in your formative years.
But it's kind of changed. And
Yeah, I know. But your vehicle remained pretty much the same. All right. Well, maybe we'll try another question. How about you do comics that have other other characters in besides Amy and Jordan, do you not?
Yeah.
In
fact, if anything, I'm planning to do even more things. I'm going to try to... I've been doing Amy and Jordan now for so many years.
Yeah.
I'm getting kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to develop some new characters and if anything, I do have a plan to start writing also. I'm going to attempt to
write, for example, like perhaps books?
Yeah.
Or movies?
Well,
maybe you're going to go back for like the movies again?
I'll try a short story first
Yeah.
and see how that goes. I mean, I used to do this kind of stuff. I was writing before I was doing art. And then again, to me, it's another kind of storytelling, or can be. I don't know. I think it remains to be seen whether I can pull it off or not. I'm going to try.
Well, you should.
I feel like I'm at the point.
You're not dead yet.
Yeah, and I feel I'm like old enough that I think when I was young, it's true with the comics too. I mean, I think I've always had a really hard time being really direct in terms of like some cartoonists can just write very honest kind of autobiographical stories about specific incidents in their lives or periods of their lives. I've always found that really difficult. It was always much easier for me to deal with situations more abstractly and more allegorically, perhaps. I don't know. Now, but I think I was honest in what I was doing, but I think that I'm at a point now where I think I'm ready for like a deeper level of honesty, or a deeper level of self-honesty that I think I could portray in both the comics and possibly stories. So I'm going to try.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're doing a fine job, so, what the hell. Let's see.
Am I doing a fine job with this thing?
You're doing a fine job with this thing, and also you're doing a fine job. No, you're doing great. You're doing fine. Just trying to. You pretty much have touched on answering all the questions. I think that. I mean, I was going to ask how did your characters evolve, but. Well, yeah, you didn't really. Where are Amy and Jordan from? I mean, you sort of said that you're not really sure that.
It was
what they are, but
yeah,
and they morphosize all the time. But
I think it meant different things to me at different times. I
yeah.
think when I started doing comics, when I did Disturbing Evening, that book, I think I was really thinking more about the idea of just telling a good like adventure fantasy story or something, and I really wasn't thinking about I really wasn't trying to think about it. I wanted to make a good, entertaining story, I guess. So the characters at that point were just kind of vehicles for a device to enable a story to kind of move along. But what's wrong? Is it too loud?
Just trying to figure out. There's nothing coming out of the left speaker now.
Huh. Is that moving?
Or the left side. No. Well, there's something coming out of here, but it's much less than over here.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know. Hey, Scotto? Did you fuck around with this?
No.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Sure you did. Now it's better.
Really?
You did. You were fucking around with that. You dick.
I didn't.
Well, Succubus came in and did it while we were in the other room.
Unless when it was dark,
Could be, yeah.
I switched it accidentally.
All right. Okay. Killing my ears.
So now it's both?
So now we're really, really loud.
Left, right, off. What does that mean? That switch, do you know?
Wait a minute. Minimum, maximum. Now why are we... Oh, we're cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go in. Anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. Your characters? We were talking about how your characters evolved?
Yeah. So I think that the work changed. I think there were certain times when Amy was clearly me.
Yeah.
And Jordan was clearly me, and then there were times where there were just kind of symbols for urban decay, perhaps.
Yeah.
But I think, if anything, I've become more detached from it now, and I don't think I used to think that I had to really kind of live the reality of the stories.
Oh, how frightening.
There was a time when I felt like, on some level, that I had to really live, that was like the kind of reality that I had to somehow experience, and I identified very strongly with the feeling behind the stories, the feeling of alienation, and I felt that was a true reflection on some level of how I actually felt. And I don't know. I don't feel any of that anymore now. Now I'm viewing it more now like as a storyteller, and like with this Amy and Jordan series, I am kind of.
This Amy and Jordan series that you're talking about is in what publication? I mean, you're being carried regularly by.
Well, it's in New York Press in New York, and LA Weekly in Los Angeles. And sporadically it appears like in San Diego Reader in San Diego. And that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, and a paper called The Real Paper in Providence, Rhode Island also is
picking it up. They just recently picked it up.
Yeah, they're doing it regularly.
Yeah.
I mean, I
almost
forgot about that. It's funny because the guy from Cream asked me that, and I didn't even mention it.
Oh, it's a shame. Well,
I totally forgot about it because they haven't paid me.
RISDIG is there, so it's probably going to be an important. Actually, it's probably very, very excellent.
I don't know. They haven't sent me any copies, nor have they paid me anything.
Well,
yet. Well, he told me it was going to be like that. He said they're going to pay like once every 2 months or something. Anyway, this is all. Obviously,
off the record.
This is. I don't think. This would be like 2 paragraphs of it.
Well, listen. We already. You pretty much have. You have also addressed this question, but I'll ask it anyway because there may be something that you want to elaborate on it. Because other than that, I think I have one other question. That's it. Do you base your stories on fiction or fact? And you pretty much said, that it used to be. Amy or Jordan used to be you, depending on what was happening. But is there any? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
There's aspects of the there's parts of like the dialogue. There's dialogue. There's even aspects of certain aspects of Amy and Jordan's relationship that are based upon fact. The overall stories or the overall narratives are generally fiction. In 99% of the cases, I usually make them up, or they usually actually.
They're not. It's not like you read the paper that day and went like, "Oh, okay."
No, it usually just occurs to me very quickly. I mean, the whole idea.
So it's kind
for
of
these little stories. I'll just
emotionally based or
cerebral. Just an image or a whole little story will just come into my mind. Complete little story. And I'll write it down. I'll usually write down the dialogue first on a piece of paper. I'll write. Sometimes a dialogue will come to me. I'll be very rarely, but it has happened where I'll be somewhere else and wherever, and I'll write down some dialogue and use it later. But generally, I do the dialogue first. I have that all figured out in advance.
I see. Well, that's pretty interesting. It's an insight. Mark, I think we might be pretty much. Well, what publications are you really proud of being a part of?
Well, Raw, of course.
Raw magazine, which is just briefly.
It's a comic magazine that's supposed to be published. It's published once or twice a year, penning, and it's probably the best, probably the most serious, and I think the best publication in the country for the new kind of artistic comics that have been emerging, the new kind of artistic cartoonists.
Well, it's an excellent magazine, but what else?
That I'm proud of?
Yeah, well, or perhaps that where can we actually see your work? I mean, there's many of us that, I mean, we know, for example, that you've done a number of silkscreen prints that that are available in a limited edition.
Well,
we also know that you've done a Pantheon book by called Agony, which is also probably out of print at this point. We just want to know, where can we get your work? I mean, where we
in this area
now we don't know anywhere.
Well,
I mean, for example,
I would think,
are you in the Vogue magazine? Are you in perhaps Cream magazine? Are you in the Cream magazine?
Yeah, as you know.
Well, no.
But I think that if somebody was looking for it, Agony could probably still be ordered. Actually, I just found out
from Pantheon.
If you could get a bookstore to order it for you, it could be ordered. And I also have worked in an anthology of raw stories called Read Yourself Raw. I was in the two the two Penguin Viking Raws that have been out, but are both still in print. I have stories in both of those. So in terms of things that are available or that could be ordered from anywhere in the country, I would say that the two Raw, the last two issues of Raw, this Read Yourself Raw anthology and Agony are like the main things.
All right, now for the people who aren't necessarily comic advocates, but who are interested in just seeing what your work looks like. You're in Weekly, you're in two magazines, which you've already mentioned.
New York Press.
Yeah. I mean, you do.
Well, if you're in New York,
things, for example, also in the Village Voice.
Yeah, I haven't.
And things like that. I mean, what other kind of publications? Have people perhaps seen your work in, throughout the country that they just didn't really realize that?
Well, the Village Voice, I did about 25 or so, illustrations in there over a period of several years, and I'll probably be doing some more soon.
I'm sure.
And
they'll be lucky to have you.
But I don't know, where else? I mean, I'm doing a lot of stuff in Japan or other countries.
Well,
which is not going to...
Japan and where? France? Where else? Where are you doing things besides Japan?
Well, I mean...
Tell me a little bit about that.
Not a lot, but...
Actually, yeah, talk to me a little bit about what is your effect on other countries? I mean, the Japanese love you.
I don't know about that.
The French perhaps maybe love you.
I don't know. I think that those countries just have more. There's more interest in Japan, particularly. There's considerably more interest in comics, and there's considerably more interest in graphic art, I would say, overall. And I think that the culture happens to be especially receptive to kind of primitive graphic art. So for a combination of those reasons, I think my work makes some kind of sense. It makes some kind of sense that my work has that there are people that are interested in it over there.
Well, besides Japan.
Well,
I mean, you've dealt with the French.
Yeah, I mean, I've had work published in France.
And talk about maybe a little bit about your album covers also. First talk about France. Talk about other countries that you've
Well, not a lot, but I've done... I've done illustrations for some newspapers in France. I've had some comics published over there.
And prints.
And prints.
Made.
I've had some silk screens made in France.
Released, yeah.
And anything else? I've had some shows there. I guess that's about it.
All right. What about? What did I just say? What were you just asking about? My brain's getting tired now. Well, look, Mark. I think we're okay for now.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
It's exhausting, huh? Shut it off.